Hello again. Just getting myself comfy. Okay, I said that I was going to make video number 2 really today. I've just made a video about my health and had a little chat, didn't we? So yeah, this is video number 2 of the day, although I put this up like the second day, if you know what I mean. And this one is going to be quite difficult to sort of talk about, I suppose, in a way, you know, or to choose the right words more than difficult to talk about. Basically what it is somebody said, I always say somebody, although this was a private comment, so I'd rather not say who this particular person is. But to kind of encapsulate, she said she is now so distant from her family that they no longer exist. And she said the truth is that she misses them terribly, but they don't want to know. And she's tried and tried and tried, and they just don't want to know. And she said, in your videos, apart from when you were ill and you stayed with your brother, you don't really mention your family. Then every now and then you mention somebody, and she is quite surprised that I've got a family. Well, yeah, I have got a family, kind of. Now, if anybody in the family is watching this, they don't normally, but you know, that's just how it is. But if anybody ever does come across this video and they decide to feel pissed off about it, then whatever, it's just factual. And only those who can't think for themselves would have a problem, because they would watch this video and think, okay, I may not be happy with it, but it is factual, it is correct, you know. So I'm going to answer a couple of things, or try to answer a couple of things that this very lengthy message came in about, really. But also it's about me, so I can put myself into this particular woman's shoes, really. Psychologists talk about something called the family trance. And what the family trance is people get involved within their family. That's all they know, obviously, as a small child, that's all they know. So they put people into a place. So there's mum and there's dad, and then there's the older brother or sister, the younger one, and this one does that, and this one lives here, and that one does that, and I do this, and you know, this is where I fit. And that kind of stays roughly how it is forevermore, really. And if you do move on and you grow and you evolve and what have you, then you go back for a meeting or a family get together or something like that, and you're supposed to fit very neatly back into that that way of being, into that position, and of course you don't, and you can't often. So that can cause whatever conflicts are out there. For those that want it to be a conflict, I don't. I just see it as, you know, it's part of the course. But yeah, this family trance is a funny old thing, really, because people go through this sort of family trance, this blindness, without thinking it through, and they end up losing themselves somewhere within this muddy water of family, you know. How I quantify it is very simple, really, you know. Family, to me, is like they're all stood in a puddle, a big large puddle. They're all stood there, and you're stood in the puddle with them. That's where you belong. You're just kind of all there together. And then if you step out of I've stepped out of that puddle, I stepped up onto the bank. And because I've done that, I'm no longer in the family. I am within reaching distance. And I can now, because I'm on the bank, I can move further and further away. But if I go back to visit that puddle, I won't step into the puddle. I only go onto the verge, onto the bank, and I can still reach in and say hello and things like that if I wanted to, you know. For me, how I feel, that things have gone over the last few years, really, I suppose, is that my family have taken very much a back seat in my life. Initially, not as far as I was concerned, but I think, and I may be wrong, but I think as far as they were concerned to me. Now, why I say that is a very simple thing, really, is because the contact that I had with my family was only ever coming from me to them. That's how it was for a number of years, now that I think back on it, really. Which is, it's a real shame, because any relationship has got to be a two-way thing. It's got to be, otherwise there is no relationship there. I believed that I had a family. I believed people cared. I believed, you know, I believed in family. That's what I believed in, rightly or wrongly. Now, in the last 6 months, certainly since about September of last year, October, November, December, January, February, March, April, well, nearly in April, 7 months. So say 6 months. In the last 6 months, I haven't had one single text, one single call. There's been nothing, well, nothing really. No emails, no nothing. No contact with my family. Which is, it's a bit sad. It's a bit of a shame, but that's how it is. The reason why I've had no contact is because it's always been me contacting my family. Always. So I decided that I'm not going to be doing that. You know, so I just stopped doing that just to see what would happen, and what's happened is nobody cares enough to be bothered to get in touch with me, which yeah, it might sound awful, but that's just the way it is, you know, and we have to learn to live and deal with that, you know. The saddest thing, I suppose, for me, because we're talking about me at the moment, is when I had the heart attack. That was the saddest thing. Yes, everybody phoned. They did phone, and I'm very, very, very grateful that they did, because I did need people in my life, you know, certainly did. And I had one visit from my sister, actually came to visit, so that was lovely as well. But nobody else did. I got just limited contact, really, just one phone call from most people, and that was it. Never heard from them again, some of them, sadly, but there you go. I didn't get a single card. It surprised me, because if one of those were ill, how I was ill, I would have definitely visited, got them a card, kept in contact, made sure they were alright, and expressed my concern and my love, and, you know, that's what I would have done. So that part hurts me. I would have thought if they all clubbed together, just 5 pence each, and bought me a card from all of them, and just said, you know, Bry, get well from the whole family, you know, that would have done, really, but it didn't happen. You know, people came to visit me, one particular person 315 miles away. Yeah, you know, people travelled a long, long way, but not my family. And Pippa and Jules and Mouse and various travellers dotted around the UK all offered to come to help me, to see me. Is there anything you want, anything I can do? You know, I'm free today, I will drive from where I am to you. And that was incredible for me, absolutely incredible. And they are my family, they are my spiritual family, and my spiritual brothers and sisters, the whole lot of them. And I'm very, very grateful. But my family, who were living in the same town, sadly didn't bother. Just the way it is. Yeah, so my family are very, very distant from me now. And I've no idea really why, but it is how it is. So I don't really, I'm not overly bothered about that anymore. You know, I do love my family, I do care about my family, and I do respect my family. I wish they would care about me. you know, enough to just text me, just twice a year, something like that, maybe. You know, and if people can travel for hours to come and visit me, or people phone me on a regular basis, people text me on a regular basis, none of that is my family, that's all friends. You know, again, that's a bit sad really, but that is the way it is. But this woman said that, you know, her family now are so distant that she doesn't even know them. It doesn't feel that they factor in her life. Well, actually they don't have to, do they? They really don't have to. Your family are just a collection of people that you were brought up with. You didn't choose them. They were just there, you know. As I say, you didn't choose these people. They are just a collection of people. And what's happened now, I presume, is obviously they've just gone their separate ways, that they do their own thing and whatever. And it is sad that you don't factor in their life, but it is part of life that people just grow, evolve, they move on, and families just disappear. You know, I spoke to somebody last year, an elderly guy, and he said he had 2 sisters, but he didn't know where they lived. And he said, in a way, I'd like to get back in contact with them, because he's not well. He's got, well, something serious wrong with him. And he said he doesn't know where they live. He hasn't spoken to either of them for must be 20 or 30 years. He doesn't even know how long it is. And that's a real shame, but again, that's just the way it is. If that's the way it is, then we have to just accept that. So what is your family now? That's what I would ask you. You know, your family is you. So my family, I am my own family. And as a little family unit, there's me and Bodes. That's our family. That's my most immediate family. If I look outside of myself, my spiritual family, who are very important to me, my spiritual brothers and sisters, my very good friends, my close friends, people that do care enough to be bothered with me on a regular basis, people that are concerned for my well-being, for my health. We had Storm Doris recently, and the 4 phone calls I got, none of them were from family. You know, but people do care, they really do care, and those people are now family. You know, so I don't need what once was a family of people, or a collection of people, as a family, because I've got a different family, really. That's how I now look at it, you know. But as I say, I still love and respect my real blood family. Of course I do. And if they needed me, I'd be there for them tomorrow, because there is a family tie. Of course there's a family tie. You know, so I'm not saying that I'm rejecting my family or anything like that, because I'm not. I do feel that they've rejected me, and that's fact. You know, and I'm sure they would say, oh no, that's not right, we haven't done that. Well, then where are you? You know, how many times have I been in hospital in the last year to my family? You wouldn't have a clue, not a clue. My friends know. You know, what things have gone wrong in my life in the last year to my family? You don't know, do you? No. But my friends do. Where have I been? You don't know. Where am I heading? You don't know. It's sad, but that's fact, you know. And again, to this person, that's what I would say to you is, who is your immediate family now? And who would you class as family? Because you can choose your family now, so it's not all doom and gloom. It's actually quite good, you know. And I know you say you feel very distant from your family. There is a tie, there is a connection there somewhere, you know. And I could tell you lots of things, you know, keep on trying. Well, I've done that for many, many years, and it doesn't really work for me. It might work for you. I could tell you to just distance yourself even further. That's all well and good if that's really what you want. But obviously, we're not talking about what you want, are we? We're talking about what your family want. Excuse me. If somebody, anybody, wanted to be in contact with you, they would. This day of communication with Facebook message, you know, text message, phone calls, emails, and there's all sorts of things. I don't know half of these things, but Snapchat, Kik, Skype, what else is there? FaceTime. I don't know about any of these things, but probably your family do, you know, so if they wanted to be in contact, they would. So they're sending you a message now. That's what they're doing by not contacting you. Same as my family are to me. But they're not really interested, you know, and they've kind of moved on to a different thing, you know, out of sight, out of mind. That's how I think of it, really. You know, so I'm very sorry that it's happened to you. But because it's been 11 years, I think you said, was it 7 years? Or 11 years? I got 11 years in my head. If it's been 11 years, that's a long, long time. And I don't think there is any going back. If there's some going back, then you're going back to a collection of people that are just strangers to you after 11 years. You know, you think if one of those had a little baby, little toddler, that toddler is now a teenager, you know. Or if somebody was 50 odd, they're probably retired. You know, if somebody was dating somebody, they're probably married with kids. If somebody was sort of had half an idea of moving abroad, they're probably living in Australia. So they're a collection of just people that you once knew who have become strangers, and people do. And again, I think that's okay, really. I think life is about moving on and changing and evolving and things like that. And I'm a great believer in not looking back, really. Live for now, live for today, you know. And as long as you're okay today and you've got enough in your life, then you will always be okay. You know, I'm very lucky, I'm very fortunate, I'm very, very blessed because I've got quite a good life. I've got enough people that do care about me in my life. I've got enough things to do in my life. I've got a bit of a semi-plan to do in my life. And really, on the whole, mostly, my life is going okay. Yeah, I do wish I had a family. I do wish they cared. That's probably never going to change, I don't know. But that can be put aside, really. As far as I'm concerned, that can just be put aside. And you can think, okay, that was then. It's a bit of a shame, but never mind, let's move on. And really, that's my advice. Just move on. You clearly have, if it's been 11 years, then you clearly have, although obviously because this message was very long and you told me several different things there, it means that for whatever reason, currently you're starting to think about your family. So if you feel the need to try to get back in contact with your family, then do so. They are your family after all, and they should be there. I think family should be there for each other. That's what I personally feel. I may be wrong at that, I don't know. I can only talk about myself, I can only talk about my family, and I can only talk about what I personally feel that a family should be. And what I feel what a family should be is clearly not what my family feel that a family should be. So perhaps you're thinking along those same lines. You're wanting some contact. They're quite glad just to have no contact, you know. So it's a very difficult situation at times, really. But all I'm saying really is just to accept the situation. You've managed for 11 years without your family. You will continue to manage. That's it. If they wanted to be there, they would. By not being there, they're sending you a message. That's what they're doing. Listen to that message and just accept it. Just draw a line and say that was then. That was a collection of people I once knew then. But in the 11 years, I've done this. I've got this person in my life, that person. This is now me, my immediate family, my extended family, my spiritual family, whatever you want to call them. Your friends can be family. Lots of different things can be family. And as long as you've got enough to do in your life and enough people in your life, then you actually don't need to step back into what once was a family. Okay, take care then, be well. I hope that's helped.